Good morning again. This is Elizabeth West. I'm the editorial director of the BTN Group, and you're joining Business Travel News at the BTS show in Europe. Joining me today is Mike Eggleton. He is the Director of Research and Intelligence for BCD Travel. And Mike, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Beth. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. So we invited you today because the BCD Travel research team has put out several reports this year, including a business travel trends report, a risk report, and you're going to have to remind me, the wellness report. And I know that those are available on the website. But I think what we're interested in today is your most recent report on the Metaverse and what that means for business travel. So why don't you give us some insights about what's happening?
Yeah, sure. I must admit, a few months ago, I think like most people, the Metaverse just simply wasn't on my radar whatsoever. But it's going to be the next big thing in technology. And quite simply, it's going to be a fully immersive 3D version of the internet. And the possibilities are absolutely boundless. So with that in mind, I thought, well, I want to know more because I've got quite an inquisitive mind. And that's how I operate. By doing that, I then share what I've learned with our clients and more broadly. And I thought, well, let's have a look at the Metaverse. And more importantly, let's have a look to see what it means for business travel. And we've published the report this week, and it's on our website, bcdtravel.com. And I'd urge people to have a look because it will give them some insights into the basics. So what's the origins of the Metaverse? Right. What are some of the basic functions? But I think what's really interesting is what it could actually mean for business travel.
I have some inklings about what it could mean for business travel, and it starts a little bit maybe with the meetings and virtual meetings front, but I'm sure you have more ideas from your research. So why don't you give me the top line impact on business travel from the Metaverse?
Well, I think the top line is summed up by two words: inspiration and demonstration, and we highlight those in the report. And it's probably an idea if I just give you a few examples of how I see the Metaverse playing out. And it starts with events. These days, event planners, they might have to visit events in venues in person, but now, once they have the Metaverse, they can visit them virtually. And the venue can set up different configurations of rooms, and the event planner can walk around to see if they work. They could walk around the wider environs to see what sort of facilities their attendees are going to enjoy. And I think more importantly, because it's virtual, they can look at more venues than ever before. From the comfort of their own home, and just by donning a 3D headset. So there's some great value there for them. So I think that's where it starts. And then, of course, you can extend the same concept to travel buyers, where they're looking at different hotels themselves for the transient travellers. And I think another area is the travellers themselves in terms of hotels. So when they're at the booking stage, they might be presented with a choice of 3 to 5 hotels, depending on their travel policy. Which one do they choose? And in the past, you'd probably go onto the internet, 2D version, and then you'd be facing all these simple carousels of photos. And a lot of the time, they're stock images, so it doesn't matter which hotel in a chain you look at, it's the same pictures, and it tells you absolutely nothing. So now, again, the traveller can visit all of those hotels. They can wander around, they can check out the room facilities, they can go and check out the gym. Is it as big as the photo shows, or is it a mirror that's making it look a lot bigger? They can walk outside and have a look to see if that hotel is next to a busy road, or in an industrial estate, or next to a pleasant park. And that way they can make more informed decisions and probably safer decisions if they know a bit more about the local area. But again, it's better choices for travellers, more informed choices. And then the final one, which really resonates with me, and that's airports. I worked for British Airways for 24 years before joining BCD. So I know all about travelling. I hate airports. I find the whole experience, it's sensory overload. You walk in there, lots and lots of signs, people rushing around seemingly knowing what they're doing. And I hate using an airport for the first time, be it departure or arrival. And of course there's a safety aspect. If you're arriving at an airport you've not been to before, you don't want to stand out as a stranger, particularly in certain parts of the world. It potentially can make you a target. So I find that once we have the metaverse, I can actually wander around the airport, familiarise myself with the processes, because they do vary by airport. And most importantly for me, based on my own experience, is understanding the processes at the other end. How do I find the bus terminal? How do I find a taxi or the rail station? Or more importantly, if I'm making, as I did years ago in the States, an international domestic connection, what do I do? Where do I go? I did this over Minneapolis. I spent fruitless hours on terminal maps, on forums, trying to understand how I would do it. And even with that preparation, it went miserably wrong. So for me, that's a big bonus. Again, removes a lot of the stress pre-trip and of course during trip as well, just by being aware of what you're going to be facing when you get out there.
Okay, I have some questions. So, how do you picture travelers or business travelers, managed business travelers, consuming this type of content? Is it available in their booking tool? Is it available in their in some other platform that they can then explore? Integrating that with the process, the sort of search and booking process that's in place right now, seems years away. Let's just, for example, just the content to get the hotels into the booking tool is challenging. So then to have content like this available within a booking tool environment seems like quite a few steps away. Is it an extra platform? Is it more like a local, and I know that BCD has a relationship with Tripism, so I'm going to say Tripism. Is it a Tripism type platform that this would be embedded in? Where do you see it happening in the process?
Well, I think you're right, it could be some years away. But I also suspect, like a lot of technologies, we'll be talking about the metaverse, and we're wondering what's going on, and then suddenly it will literally explode. And then we'll be thinking, well, how do we live without the metaverse? A bit like how do we live without the internet? And a number of travel companies are tentatively dipping their toes in the metaverse at the moment. And one that we highlight in the report is Qatar Airways, where they've launched Qverse. And at the moment, that is quite simplistically them giving you a virtual tour of their premium check-in and their premium cabin. And you can do that through the Qatar Airways website. And you can do it with existing technology at the moment. So you can do it on your laptop or your mobile phone, but it's not going to be the fully immersive virtual reality experience. Hotels are doing similar things. So at the moment, there are a variety of ways that you'll be consuming that content. And to be honest, it will be fairly basic content. But in time, my understanding is that the experts see the metaverse as being fully integrated into the internet. And accessing the Qverse through Qatar Airways, it's on their internet site. Other metaverse content, you have to go through these platforms, like the Sandbox. So it's still in its infancy, and I think it's still trying to find its way. But I think in time, it will just be part of the normal process. In the way that you look at the hotel at the moment when you're booking, you'll be doing it in virtual reality.
Awesome. Well, Mike, that was super fascinating. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the metaverse, you can check out the report at bcdtravel.com, yeah?
Thank you. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.